let's add meat. Let's remove the tomato. Put on the big tomato. Again, we gotta set this thing up properly. As it goes, that's good enough. We'll kill the brand, kill the music. Whoops, get back here. Kill the music. Bring on the comments. And here we go. I promise not to sing. All right, maybe I will. Put one foot in front of the other. Used to love those cartoons right around this year. I think that was that big snowman thing. What are those holiday cartoons we used to watch? Or maybe you still do watch them if you can find them. I got to be someplace, right? There's so many cable channels all over the place. There's got to be that stuff. Hey, things I used to watch when I was a kid channel must be out there. If not, just Google it. I'm sure it'll come up. It'll be easy enough to do. Doug, good afternoon to you. I couldn't play it here. They got copyright stuff. Oh, I can't do that. Can't do that. But that song, doesn't that not like epitomize everything? That's my word of the day, by the way. For all you Toastmaster friends, the word of the day is epitomize. Anyhow, but doesn't it really epitomize everything that we do, everything we're trying to accomplish, every challenge that we face, everything across the way? Putting one foot in front of the other. Go ahead, Doug. I'll let you make your comment on that one. But still, it's a matter of making headway, making some sort of forward progress, some sort of progress. Even if it doesn't work out, that progress, that step that you take. But isn't it that keeps it going and keeps it going in many, absolutely many directions? If you don't keep it going or you just don't do anything, that you don't share at all and the rest of that stuff, be like, hey, or maybe you don't share. You don't have to share what you're working on to make that daily effort. But then you get people calling you up. It's like, hey, I remember a couple months ago, weren't you working on some project? And you say, yeah, but that means you're not making daily progress. That means you're not putting a daily effort into it. If you were, then you would simply never, 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 ever would you respond with, yeah, but, or, well, and those other kind of wishy washy statements. Now, you absolutely don't have to make massive headway each and every day. And if you can make massive headway each and every day, man, you are terrific. You have got the horse blinders on. You're just looking at that. Everything else doesn't make a difference. You're just charging forward with it, making massive moves, massive moves. But it never works out that way. It just doesn't. Heck, I was just watching a video before that George Washington, Revolutionary War. It was when the British left New York to go down to South Carolina. Charleston was their aim. That was what they were going to go and attack to try to create a foothold down there, because it wasn't working out terribly well up in the Northeast. Big action by them, but there's a lot of small actions by the Continental Force, by the Americans, at the time. But it was constantly making a move forward. Who wound up winning the war? Well, obviously, George Washington did. The Americans did. Obviously, the outcome of that one, not the British. So maybe that big thing, that big movement all the time is not really the answer. It's the constant little steps that one would take in order to achieve success. All right, so here's the side of it too, right? If you don't work on it at all, on whatever that project is, a couple of things gonna happen. One, somebody's gonna ask you what's going on. You're like, well, that's a clear indication that it just was not that important to you. Absolutely not. And if you were out there trying to get assistance, help, work other people into it, ask for a favor, anything like that, and you start your answer off with, well, or I've been meaning to call you. It's an afterthought. Definitely an afterthought. If you are making that daily progress, you will start with something so much more powerful, confident in that kind of thing. Might start off with, glad you asked. You wouldn't believe this, but when I get to a certain point, I want to give you a call because I think there's something in there, that might assist you. What a difference, right? What an absolute difference. But what that's also telling me is that that project you're working on really means something to you. Really does, because you're taking those daily steps. Now, what could a daily step be? What could that daily effort be? It could be anything, anything. It all depends, of course, where you're at with regards to that project. And I've spoken a number of times about different organizations to go to in order to get some assistance and opinions and help, from third party people. And I think that's so important. If you're going to hash out an idea, to get that idea looked at by somebody that does not have any kind of a vested interest in it. Why? Because you're most probably going to get the most honest answers from that group of people. One where they're not putting your feelings, ouch, but where they're not putting your feelings or your relationship with them front and center. They're actually looking at the project front and center, not your relationship front and center. Like there's a lot of things I talk over with friends and stuff like that. Very few of those friends will give me like a flat out honest, what are you thinking? kind of response. Others are like, well, if it means something to you, I don't, what does that mean? If it means something to me, if I was dead set on it, where it was like an absolute, I wouldn't even be asking anybody. I would just be putting the horse blinders on, taking massive steps and moving forward. And I think that, short-sighted as it might be, is probably a mistake. Probably a mistake because there's so many folks out there that could share different ideas with you, that could share different experiences with you to help you move your project in a positive manner. In a positive manner. It's always nice to get those learning moments in. Yep, that's right. There's times you kind of mess up and like, oh my gosh, what the heck was I thinking? But other times, and it's a little bit more palatable when you're getting advice from somebody like, I didn't think about it like that. Always appreciate their comments. Either going to take it into consideration or you're going to say, man, that is like spot on. I'm going with it. Thank you so much, for that. Your friends, though, it's a very difficult relationship sometimes, with friends to ask that question. Sometimes they have a vested interest in there that is their own side of it. And I'm not going to tell you that they're going to do something that's going to hurt you. I don't think any good friend will do that. Make sure it's a good friend. But any good friend will absolutely do that. But if they're really that close to you, they don't want to see you get hurt either. Just like your partner and spouse and stuff like that. Different. Business partner, that partner I'm talking about from a relationship partner. Business partner, different. Definitely different. That really should be an open, honest conversation whenever you're looking at something for that business. And if you're looking at doing something beyond the business and you speak to your business partner, your business partner is going to wonder, it's like, well, if you do that, how much are you paying attention to the business? That's a real good question. And if you and I were in business together and you told me about this project you're going to be working on, that's got nothing to do with the business, the core business, I'm thinking, if you really want to do that, how much do you want to do this? Question. So thought. So your business partner will have their own point of view on the whole thing. I will go back to this again and again and again. I think one of the greatest places to go to is going to be these mastermind groups. Some of them you pay for, some of them you don't pay for. There's a difference there too. Some of them are in person, some of them are online. There's a difference there also. Now, I think with the mastermind groups, there's always a benefit to having something that's online. It's easier to attend. That means maybe more people will attend just because it's easier to attend and they're not really willing to make that time commitment to it. So you got to keep that. Other side of it too is they may be just complete strangers. I did one mastermind group online and I think it went really well, but everybody knew exactly why they were there and it was a solid group of people. So the folks that coordinated it, I think they did a great job of vetting the attendees. And although this was sponsored, so all the attendees attended for free. There was no fee involved in the whole thing. So that makes it, the barrier to entry was none. So anybody could attend. But it was really clear in the beginning as to what the mastermind group was going to cover. So it was a very, very, very facilitated effort. And that's probably why it worked out well, as opposed to just a free for all kind of conversation. Hey, one of these, this is what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think? One of those kind of events. So, this understand the benefits and limitations. If it's online and it's free and it's not facilitated, these are people just showing up. They may or may not be committed to the whole thing. They may be just there because it's easy for them to be there, only looking to get themselves, only looking for themselves to get some takeaway from the whole thing, not willing to share. You need people willing to share. If I ask you for an opinion, or you and I are at one of these things, and you're only there for you to get advice for you and not to give any kind of thought to me on something, what's the purpose of me being there? Right? Or what are you going to gain from it? Nothing. Nothing. So that vetting process by the organization is really important. And you know what? If you're going to attend one like that, ask. Ask. Who do you expect to attend this? How is the meeting going to be structured? Is it facilitated? Is it not facilitated? Is there a grouping of people? Look, it may just be great to get a group of entrepreneurs that are, one or two people businesses, or basically it's the go it alone crowd that are in a business to business setting or a business to consumer setting, but they have some sort of commonality with it. Maybe they want to start online businesses. It's perfectly fine to meet online. If there's some sort of common thread with it, then I think it really makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Another place to go to, well, let's go with the same thing, right? Let's just stay in the same topic here with these mastermind groups. Then there's the other ones that you pay for. Should you pay? Well, we all know from when you went out to went out to bars, you go to a bar where there's no cover charge. Everybody goes. You go to a bar where there is a cover charge. You filter out, with that. Now you got people going there because there's a cover charge because there's a band. They're willing to pay to see the band, as opposed to no cover charge, no band. They're just going out there to drink, and socialize. There's a difference. Someplace with a massive cover charge, $50 to get in, or $100 to get in, or it's a dinner show and the rest of that stuff. Again, it filters it out, that much more, which means that you're either going out, have a good time, go to a bar, or you're going out to hear a band, or you're going out to hear a, dinner at a show. It gets more and more specific as the cost rises. Same thing holds true with the mastermind group. If you're paying to go to a mastermind group and the cost of entry is $500, $1,000, $5,000, couple of things going on. One, you're going to drop $5,000 to go to a mastermind group. Your expectations are pretty high. And if that's a group that's been in existence for a while, that means the value add on their side is pretty high to justify the $5,000. And now you're going to be with a group of people, a group of businesses that are all have the ability, we'll say, and the desire to spend $5,000, for a mastermind group. And they want to share ideas. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. Otherwise, they take their $5,000 and hire a business coach and just work on a one-on-one relationship. So it's interesting, the different aspects of the whole thing. There was a group over here, which I believe is still going on. The group was a mastermind group. There was a fee, and it was a significant fee to attend this thing. But those groups were broken down very, very specific. You had to have a certain amount of revenue, all right? But you had to have a certain amount of revenue, number of employees, kind of the same type issues. And then you had to do the big thing there is sign off on a non-disclosure. Non-disclosure, because you're going to be sharing information with possibly your competitors. but definitely other businesses that are in that same realm of what you're doing. So it becomes a little bit stricter in that respect. But you're now going to get opinions and thoughts from somebody else. That, my friends, is a big step going forward. It's a big step to take, but each and every day, you still need to make those small incremental moves to keep that ball going on. But now, what you have now, you have an accountability partner or accountability partners, all those folks in the group. Because when they say, "Hey, how'd you do last week?" You got to come up with some concrete answer. Well, never really works out that way. Never works out that way. Hey, other places to go. There's also various meetings to go to, uh, organizations to attend. We can go in and get different business coaches that are complimentary. I've mentioned it before. SCORE is one. The Small Business Development Center happens to be another one. But here's what has to happen regardless. No matter what route you're going to wind up taking, the thing that has to happen is that you've got to be clear. You got to be clear as to what it is. And he's the greatest indicator as to why or if you are not clear as to what you need to do, is because you're not just dead set on it. If somebody asks you how you're doing with a project and your answer is well, not only do they now know that you don't have a true interest in it, hold that mirror up, because now you also should know that you don't have a true interest in it, unless you've got some situation, that absolutely has to be handled, beforehand. I mean, there's always something. So we'll go with that 80-20 rule yet. One more time. There's always something. But if it's just an excuse, it's just an excuse. You'll know the difference, on that one. So how do you make that daily headway? It could just be a phone call to somebody and say, look, this is where I'm at with it. This is the project. This is the goal. This is what I'm looking to do. What do you think? That's daily headway. Attending a meeting of folks that are in that space, that you get a chance to introduce yourself a little bit and see what's happening there. I did one of those meetings this morning. Did it further the goal of it? Not directly. Indirectly, yeah, but not directly. But it was something I certainly wanted to explore and be a part of, etc. So I did. So it is a benefit. It's a small step on a going forward basis. Your notepad, another thing. Get that notepad, jot down your notes, and then categorize your notes. Put them down someplace. Now you want to relook at them. Maybe you could set aside every Saturday morning or every Sunday morning or every Monday morning or maybe every Sunday night to go through those things and kind of map out your plan for the week. Maybe it's just one call a week. Look, sometimes our projects are not our jobs, so we're going to do something else. But maybe it's just one call a day that's going to keep the thing moving along. And you figure out that one high impact item that you need to do in order to keep furthering it out. All those things are different steps. All those things can help you to move along a little bit. And sometimes it's a matter of, stepping away. Just step away. All right, that's it. Tuesday, no thought process with it. Not going to think about it, not going to do anything with it. Going to write down on my calendar Tuesday, no thought day, total day off. We got these holidays coming up. One of those holidays should be, hey, that's it. I'm taking a break from it. I want to walk away from it. That's a help. That's a help. You're going to come back with a fresh idea on it. You're coming back with that new set of eyes on the whole thing. My crazy example on that one is that I cannot edit my own material. If I can edit yours, I can't edit mine. But if I take a look at something I wrote and I look at it again immediately, I could read over the same mistake time and time again. If I set it aside and come back 2 days later, something like that, I'll pick up on a few more things because I'm now looking up with a new, fresh set of eyes. I'm not just in my mind processing what I knew I wrote or what I had planned to write, maybe threw in an extra word or something like that, or had one paragraph that's one sentence, which on a writing standpoint, never a good thing. Never a good thing. But stepping away from something for a day every once in a while, that in and of itself could certainly be a positive as you'll move along as you continue down that path. Last thing on that one is going to be setting some sort of a timeline. I don't want to use the word deadline. Timeline. Timeline. So, what's realistic? What's not? Keep it on the realistic goals. Going back to that pro thing that I was talking about. Pro, right? P is the purpose. That's your mission statement. The R is going to be your reachable goals. Reachable, realistic goals. What is realistic to do? One thing is realistic to do is that every day I will do something that will further the goal. That's a realistic goal. You're not even holding yourself to what that actually is. Now, the realistic goal, once a week, I'm going to reach out to somebody that I think might be an asset, or I think might be a resource, to this. You know, there's tons of little things that can help you move the project, move the project forward. But understanding how important it is to you, probably the most important thing of all. Is everything the most important thing to do? Can't be. Just can't be. There are certain things that definitely have to take priority over other things. Figure that out. But that one project that means the most to you, there's always something to do. May not take you a long time, may just be a quick phone call, may just be a reread the notes. Maybe it just might be a post on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or something like that. May just be finding a picture that kind of represents, what you're after. Cause maybe it's updating one of your profiles. Maybe it's best that you come up with your own reachable goal, with your own something that'll make it work, for you and doing your project the way you feel that you should do it. But understand, there's tons of resources out there. There are tons of ways to make things work. And if you get the right people surrounding you, it's just absolutely incredible how it can all come together. And I know you can make it work, and I know you can make it happen. It's just, it's just a little bit of work each and every day to keep that ball moving forward. Keep that. I should get one of our football players on here to go talk about that small progress each and every time. Sometimes it's a 1 yard gain. Sometimes it's a pass, and you get a 20-yard gain. Who knows? Shakes it up. You do a little bit different things every once in a while. Throws the defense off if you're playing offense, and then you might create some opportunity along the way. Same thing holds true with this. Same thing holds true with this because I'd be shocked if you knew all the answers to everything. Really shocked. But if you constantly move forward, you constantly try different things, you constantly interact with different people, you're going to pick up different pieces of information along the way. And you'll never will you start a sentence with, well, more than likely, you're going to start your sentence when somebody asks you, like, would you believe? Would you believe? And knock on wood, I'm glad to live in that world of would you believe? We had one weird situation come up. There's like, I wanted to reach out to someone, and it was, I don't think anybody's unreachable, but it was like, how in the world am I going to get this information? Sure enough, the next day I get an email from a totally different effort, totally different thing, giving me the name, number, and extension of the person that I wanted to reach out to for something totally different. Luck? divine intervention, law of attraction, right place, right time, or maybe just being aware of those things, those resources that get tossed at us every so often. This one definitely did. Boy, oh boy, was that an odd situation. Taking full advantage of it. As now we're reaching out to everybody that surrounds that person also. Got to figure out what their point of view is. You know, I like to call that understanding different goals for different people and what they are looking to accomplish. And if it works out to be a symbiotic relationship, all good. If it works out just to be me helping them with no gain at all, well, it's a deposit in the bank, that Goodwill bank account, but may not be top on the list. Certain things are. We're not looking to expect anything. Other things, not so much. But there's a lot of folks out there that are looking to help you. Don't ever let them go. Figure out who they are. Tell them what's happening. They'll ask what's happening. And don't start your sentence off with, well, I was going to. Just start it off with, would you believe? It'll pique their interest. It'll pique your interest. And you get to say something positive. Every day I'm making headway. You wouldn't believe, but I got this phone number. You know what? I was introduced to somebody that I never even imagined. I had that happen. I was crazy. I was at a meeting and I told this person what I was looking for. And no, actually, I didn't even tell the person what I was looking for. I was mistaken to be one of the speakers. And then I was like, no, no, no. But if I did get a chance to speak, this is what the topic would be. And then I was introduced to somebody. You know what? You know why? Because I had top of mind. Keep it on top of mind. Always carry a tomato around with you. Your tomato. Your tomato, top of mind. Advancing through opportunities. The opportunities are there. You just got to keep your goal on the top of your mind. And you know what will happen when you do that? I know you know the answer to it. And the answer, of course, is incredibly obvious. You will speak well. You will speak often. And you will live inspired. Never let your tomato go. Enjoy, my friends.